What's going on, NFL fans? Mr. Shawty here, back with another Shawty Talks. Today we'll be going over round 4 of my 2022 NFL mock draft. Just want to mention one thing though, this will be my last round. Normally I watch rounds 1 through 4. Once we get into 5, 6, 7, I don't really care too much. I still pay attention, but those are mostly just depth / practice squad stashes. So let's get into round 4. With the 106th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Channing Tindall, linebacker, Georgia. So they got TJ Edwards, they got Kazir White. They could still use a number 3 linebacker. That's where he'll fit in. With the 107th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Damone Clark, linebacker, LSU. They have a lot of needs. Linebacker's one of them. They're going to select the best linebacker on the board. With the 108th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Alontae Taylor, cornerback, Tennessee. They waited till round 4 to add a corner. That's still a big need. Luckily, there's some talented corners available. With the 109th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Thayer Munford, offensive tackle, Ohio State. So they got Evan Neal to play left tackle. They'll grab the Ohio State tackle to play right. With the 110th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Darian Beavers, linebacker, Cincinnati. Outside of Patrick Queen and Malik Harrison, their depth isn't very great at linebacker, so they're going to grab one here. With the 111th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Max Mitchell, offensive tackle, Louisiana. So he'll act as the swing tackle this year, and he'll hopefully replace George Fant next year. With the 112th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Cade Otton, tight end, Washington. Both tight ends on the roster were hurt last year, so they're going to make sure they add a tight end here. With the 113th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Lectius Smith, offensive guard, Virginia Tech. They're going to have him compete to replace where Brandon Sheriff was. With the 114th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Matthew Butler, defensive line, Tennessee. So they need a third defensive lineman to play alongside Grady Jarrett and Marlon Davidson. With the 115th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Zamir White, running back, Georgia. Outside of Mike Boone and Javonte Williams, they don't really have a third running back, so they'll add White here. There's been a trade. The 49ers have traded up with the Denver Broncos. In exchange, the Niners get 116, while Denver gets 134, 172, as well as a 2023 7th. With the 116th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Romeo Doubs, wide receiver, Nevada. Outside their top 2 wide receivers, they don't have a lot, so they're going to add Doubs here. With the 117th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Zach Carter, defensive line, Florida. They're going to add a third defensive lineman behind Sheldon Rankins and Quinnen Williams. With the 118th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Eric Azukama, wide receiver, Texas Tech. They lost Rashard Higgins, Jarvis Landry. They're just going to try to fill the void. With the 119th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select John Ridgeway, defensive line, Arkansas. Michael Pierce has had his fair share of injuries. They're going to add Ridgeway as an insurance policy. With the 120th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select JoJo Duman, linebacker, Nebraska. They're going to make sure they have plenty of linebacker depth behind their top 2 guys. With the 121st pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Josh Jobe, cornerback, Alabama. With a division with all the quarterbacks, the conference with all the quarterbacks, plenty of corner depth is not a problem. With the 122nd pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Marcus Hayes, offensive line, Oklahoma. To combat the loss of 2 offensive linemen, they'll have him compete with Matt Pryor for right guard. With the 123rd pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the LA Chargers select Kirby Joseph, safety, Illinois. Their depth behind Derwin James isn't inspiring, so they're going to add another safety here. The 124th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Isaiah Likely, tight end, Coastal Carolina. They need another tight end opposite of Goddard in case Whiteside doesn't work out. With the 125th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Dameon Pierce, running back, Florida. They had to Chase Edmonds, but Myles Gaskin didn't reach over 100 yards last year. Mostert was hurt last year. They need insurance. There has been a trade. The Tennessee Titans have traded up 2 spots. The Raiders have traded away the pick. In exchange, the Raiders get 128 and 219. With the 126th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Brian Robinson, running back, Alabama. After losing Deontay Foreman in free agency, they get worried the Patriots are going to want an Alabama running back. They trade up to make sure they nail him. With the 127th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Dominic Robinson, edge, Miami. They don't have a lot of edge rushers behind Matt Judon. They're going to add a guy here. The 128th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Raiders select Iwoma Iwazaki, defensive line, Iowa State. They're moving to a 3-4. They need a number 3 defensive lineman. They're going to get their guy here. With the 129th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select John Fitzpatrick, tight end, Georgia. After losing Blake Jarwin in free agency, they need a number 2 tight end behind Dalton Schultz. With the 130th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Otita Ogbania, defensive line, UCLA. After losing Harrison Phillips in free agency, they're going to need more depth along that defensive line. With the 131st pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Pierre Strong, running back, South Dakota. With all of their running backs being hurt last year, they're going to grab an insurance policy to make sure all of them are up to keep. With the 132nd pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Jeffrey Gunter, edge, Coastal Carolina. They lost to Darius Smith in free agency. They need a number 3 in order to rotate, and in case of injuries, they get a guy. With the 133rd pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Jack Coan, quarterback, Notre Dame. Might be unpopular, but when Brady eventually retires, between Trask and Coan, they should have a replacement. With the 134th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Neil Farrell, defensive line, LSU. After losing Shelby Harris, they're going to need more depth along that defensive line. With the 135th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Jelani Woods, tight end, Virginia. Outside of Travis Kelce, they don't have a lot of depth at tight end. That's why they select Woods here. With the 136th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Jake Ferguson, tight end, Wisconsin. Hayden Hurst couldn't replace Austin Hooper in Atlanta. I don't believe he'll be the guy to replace CJ Uzomah in Cincy. With the 137th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Vernon McKinley, safety, Oregon. Their depth behind Woods and Chin isn't great, so they're going to grab safety depth. With the 138th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Kalia Davis, defensive line, UCF. Their depth at the interior defensive line isn't good, so they add Davis here. With the 139th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Damari Mathis, cornerback, Pittsburgh. Just in case Caleb Farley can't stay healthy, they add an outside corner as depth. With the 140th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Vincent Gray, cornerback, Michigan. Their depth behind Douglas, Alexander, and Stokes isn't great, so they add a corner here. With the 141st pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver, Kentucky. Fits the mold of a receiver Baltimore would draft, so they add him. With the 142nd pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the LA Rams select Donovan West, offensive line, Arizona State. They need to replace Austin Corbett on the interior of that offensive line. They add West. With the 143rd pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Luke Goedeke, offensive tackle, Central Michigan. After getting destroyed by depth problems last year, they make sure the same mistake doesn't happen. With the draft a day away, let me know down in the comments if you guys are excited. Like and subscribe. Peace out.